Welcome to another episode of Thoughts Podcast. We are not thoughts, but we have thoughts. True, honest opinions towards success. Join us for another candid conversation and valuable insight on achieving success in life and navigating through today's culture. Hosted by myself, Zykeira Casado, along with some incredible guests. We're here to explore you on your journey of triumph. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back, everyone, to Thoughts Podcast. As you all would know, we just say this to get your attention. We are not thoughts, we have thoughts. True, honest opinions towards success. And I am elated with this new guest that we have today. This gentleman has blessed the taste buds of a lot of people that I know with his incredible sauces. And if you have not ever heard of him, he's been on many different publications, major headlines, with this incredible date sauce that we're going to talk all about. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on our guest, Mr. Chris Whitehurst. Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
We're excited to just unpack the mystery behind all of these amazing flavors. So tell us a little bit about yourself, like your background, where you're from, and then we'll dive right in.
Okay, so Chris Whitehurst is the name. CW, name of the business is CW Dressings. Those are my initials. A lot of folks think the CW stands for something else, which it doesn't. It's my initials. I grew up in Jacksonville, North Carolina. My dad was in the Marine Corps, so I grew up on Camp Lejeune. He was a chef. He was a cook in the Marine Corps. So that's where I got the skill to cook. I served in the Army for 20 years, 7 months, where I served as a chef as well. I was also a general's aide. I cooked for a few generals. So I guess you could say that's where I kind of learned, to make fancy stuff.
Thanks for serving, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I just retired in September 2021. Not that long ago. But yeah, it was time to hang it up, time to do something that I wanted to do. And that was start a business. At the time, I didn't know what that business was going to be. I just knew that once I retired, I did not want to enter into the workforce, after being told what to wear, where to be when you can go home after 20 years. I really didn't feel like punching a time clock. So, yeah, I'm married. I have 6 kids. They're all grown. They're all grown. I had to count them. I have 9 grandchildren. And everything's less stressful. Less stressful now.
Well, you have a big family. Again, like I said, thanks for serving. And is that your why? Is that the driving force? Like, what's your driving force behind creating CW Dressings?
Like I mentioned, CW Dressings kind of just fell in place.
Okay.
It was nothing that I planned.
Yeah.
My initial why, I guess you could say, was selfish. I didn't want to get a job.
Yeah, that's selfish.
Yeah. But in the business game, your why, it has to be something. It has to be something stronger than you.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, it was all about me. But as time went on, I realized that, it was, wanting to do for the family unit, making my family proud, to be able to give back to family and friends, and just try to build a successful business. But as I mentioned, CW Dressing sort of just fell into place at the right time. I started CW Dressings roughly 6 months before I retired. So if I hadn't had taken my date balsamic vinaigrette, which was my first product, I had been making this for me at home for almost a year and a half before I even shared it with anyone.
Mm.
But if I hadn't had taken that to work and shared it with the fellow soldiers in the office, CW dressings may not be. I'd probably be doing something else.
Okay. So let's unpack before. So before you got retired, how long were you with this company, or was it the being in the Marines, or was it?
Army.
I mean, the Army. Was
Yeah.
that what you were doing those years, and then was that not enough, or you just wanted to do more?
Well, I was in the Army 20 years, 7 months. Um,
You
you
know
know, at,
exactly the same.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was in the Army 20 years, 7 months. After that, after waking up early, I was a chef in the Army, so early mornings. I mean, when I ran the dining facility, I mean, we would have to be at work almost sometimes 3:30, 4 o'clock. Um,
Mm.
and we would still be there roughly 3, 4, or 5 in the evening. So, I mean, just the long hours. But as I made rank, the jobs got easier, but also came more responsibility. I retired as a master sergeant. I served as a first sergeant of a basic training company. So it was just, the backaches, the knees,
I know about the knees, Chris.
yeah, the constant PCSing, the constant moving. Uh, I was just ready for something else. And like I said earlier, I would have retired without, I guess you could say, without a game plan. I
Yeah,
knew I wasn't going to get a job. I knew that. I mean, I could have been cutting grass. I could have
yeah,
been doing landscaping. I could have been, I could have owned a mobile detailing service. I didn't know what it was going to be. But like I said, when I took my products to work, shared it with the other soldiers, their eyes just lit up and they were like, "Hey, Master Sergeant, you need to sell this." And I was like, "Sell it?" I was like, I never even thought about it. I never gave it any thought. Um, and then I went home, did some market research, found out that dates is considered a exotic fruit. They have many health benefits. They have tons of potassium, fiber, brain health. They're good for women leading up to labor and delivery.
yeah.
So they have, and one of the great things about dates is that they're diabetic friendly, even though they're naturally sweet. So when I did my market research, I found out that there are not a lot of companies that incorporate date fruit in their products.
Mm.
And around that time, I was really keen on reading labels. I got into reading labels on the back of labels, checking out the ingredients.
Which would definitely throw people off if they actually paid attention to the labels.
Oh yeah, definitely. And realizing that date syrup was a great sugar alternative. I was like, you know what? Let me be one of the first to usher in the utilization of date syrup and see if I can get this ball rolling. So I did that. I ended up I would make 100 bottles a week of my first product. I would
Mhm.
sell out within a week. And I was like, you know what? In order for me to grow, I'm gonna have to find a co-packer, someone to make it for me, because I don't want to be in the kitchen making it. So
Yeah,
found a co-packer, and from there, we kind of just hit the ground running. Took off really quick.
yeah. It's so funny how things happen, but it was like you knew after retirement there was something you were going to do. So you wasn't really concerned about how it was going to happen or what. And it just so happens that this incredible, and I'm telling y'all, it is delicious. This incredible sauce that you make is record, selling. How did why dates? Like, so I have had date or made a syrup before for oatmeal when I was doing a Daniel fast, but I was like desperate for sugar. That's the only reason why I even considered doing dates. But you mentioned, like, how did you come across the fruit? Like, what happened that made you say, you know what, let me make actually a balsamic was it just is it that you were just chefing it up and then things just fell into place, or how did that happen?
Well, when I was stationed at Fort Jackson, I visited my first Whole Foods. Had never been to a Whole Foods before, and that first feeling walking into a
Yeah,
Whole
it's
Foods
an
is sort of
experience.
like after shopping at Walmart your whole life or Piggly Wiggly, walking into a Whole Foods, it was sort of like the heavens opened up, and it's like whoa, So came across dates. At that time, I was eating. I wanted to eat healthier. I wanted to cut back on my sugars, so I would buy dates because they were sweet. I would cut them up and I would put them on my salad, and I did that for a very, very long time. And then one day I was like, you know what? I wonder, I wonder if I could just make a date salad dressing. That would be
Mm,
cool if I can make a date salad dressing. So I kind of set off on that adventure to create a date salad dressing just for myself, and I did it. It was really good. I kept perfecting it, and like I said, I made that date salad dressing for almost a year before I even shared it with anyone. Um, so that was pretty much how it got started. I just came across dates in my first Whole Food visit.
was there any particular reason why you were on this health journey, or was trying to eat healthier at the time, or just
Yeah, at this time I was serving as a drill sergeant,
mhm,
so those were some early mornings.
yeah,
Every morning, waking up doing PT with the new recruits. Just constantly on the go. Just wanting to eat a little healthier. To
yeah,
keep me fueled, to keep me going. And one thing that I realized early on, and I know you've probably thought about this too. Um, I know a lot of individuals that fast,
yeah,
whether it's Ramadan or, just a natural body cleanse. They break their fast with dates
hmm,
in the Middle East. So when it comes to dates supplying energy to the body, they do absolutely that indeed. I mean, in fact, recently I stopped taking pre-workouts because I would always get kidney stones. I just could not drink enough water. So what I started doing was now before I go to the gym, I'll eat 3 or 4 dates and a pinch of salt. That would give me enough energy to sustain through an hour to 2 hour workout.
hmm. That's powerful. And I don't know if anyone who's watching this ever had just a fresh date. It's like caramel
Mhm.
in some aspects, but not like a red caramel, very sweet,
Right.
concentrated. It's amazing how that's actually natural. And we
Yeah.
over here creating all of this man-made sugar. But I
Oh yeah.
wanted to just unpack something that you said about the labor and delivery benefits towards women. Like I've heard women say that if you eat dates, it helps you towards your cycle. But what about the labor and delivery? That part I don't know.
So I don't know all of the science behind it.
Okay,
I guess I really need to research that.
okay. I don't
um,
mean
but
to-
it has something to do with the blood.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know all of the science, but I can tell you that uh, dates are not as known, as strawberries or blueberries or
no, they're
uh,
not.
mango. They are a exotic fruit, but they are predominantly imported into the United States. Now there are date farms in parts of California and Arizona. The climate has to be very hot and dry in order for them to cultivate. But yeah, I mean, just a quick Google search. What are the healthy benefits of dates? Tons of them pop up. I mean, they're good for sexual health. Um,
Okay, wait a minute. I get
Anemia.
it. Y'all need y'all. Some of y'all need to get some dates. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
They prevent anemia. So yeah, just so many different health benefits. I really need to look into and really look into and understand the science behind the labor piece.
I would imagine with the blood, it gives you the energy you need, and it helps with iron because women in both situations, when they menstruate and when they're going to labor and delivery, they're going to lose a lot of blood. So I could
Right.
see why that would be something that would be beneficial. So many other, the fact that it's actual natural sugar is amazing. Um,
Right. And with the natural sugar piece and with dates being diabetic friendly, low they're low on the glycemic index. Dates are pretty pricey, so I can definitely understand why companies won't use them because when you think of big brand companies, they're trying to make money.
yeah,
They leave it up to you to really manage, what you eat and how healthy it is. And if you look at it, a lot of the smaller companies that are coming on the scene now, they're more keen to putting together products that are healthy.
right.
The big companies, they won't really, they like to play on words on their ingredients and on their labels. Like the other day, I often go to the grocery store and I'll grab a strawberry balsamic vinaigrette and I'll read the label. And it's still shocking that. Are you still there? Did we lose you? Uh oh. Are you there? Oh, you gone.
Okay.
So I guess you can come in. You can just come.
And so, Chris, tell me like the difference between your vinaigrettes that's on the market versus this vinaigrette, the dates vinaigrette, right here
Okay.
in my hand.
So so one of the major differences is the use of the organic deglet nor dates. Dates are majority imported into the United States, and they are pretty pricey. They are considered a exotic fruit.
Okay,
So
I can see that because they
um,
don't cheap.
Right, right. And and I often go to different grocery stores, and I'll look and see what's there. I read the labels to see what ingredients salad dressings or salad dressing companies are using. That was a big factor that I wanted to dive into when I first started. When I realized that I wanted to actually start the salad dressing company. I wanted my ingredients to be fairly healthy. I didn't want to add any substandard ingredients or additional sugars. Dates themselves they're naturally sweet all by themselves, so there's really no need to add any additional harmful sugars. Just the other day, I was reading a label of a strawberry balsamic vinaigrette, which was sold at Walmart, and it shucks. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. It
Okay.
is.
I guess I disappeared on my end, but
Yeah.
but the balsamic vinaigrette, it stated strawberry balsamic, but strawberries were the sixth ingredient.
And so let's talk about that because a lot of people don't know this. And I'm going to, a lot of people don't. And so a lot of people don't know that the order of the label determines how much is in there. Is that correct? So, like, if the number one ingredient in this is water, which we see all the time, then that's what you got. That's what you have the most of. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. Yes, that is correct. And most companies, especially when it comes to salad dressing, you will see filtered water first. They'll try to get fancy and say spring water. If the salad dressing has oil in it, you will see soybean oil, canola oil. Some companies will blend all three oils. I don't know what that's about. But
Stretching
CW
the
dress.
product, like how they used to stretch out drugs.
Yeah.
Just stretch out the. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right. That's right. CW Dressings award-winning date balsamic vinaigrette. First ingredients is 100% organic deglet nord date syrup, and we use extra virgin olive oil. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me just tell you everybody how I found out about CW Dressings. Shout out to our coach, Coach Troy. We have a flag football team. I'm gonna shout out Gridiron Gang.
Oh yes.
This is how we got exposed because we always were looking for funding because we're these adults that are crazy about football, and we were looking for funding. And Troy was like, "Man, I want to try this guy's dressings." And all of us are always health conscious because, especially after 30, if you're still playing, your leg. I'm going through it right now. I'm still recovering. And so, you go through the motion. So you really be more health conscious. And so when he brought this to us, literally, I'm not kidding you. I get messages and we're going to get another order soon. Do y'all got that sauce? And so we started calling it gang sauce just as a way to get it out there. And so people would constantly ask about either the balsamic or the hot sauce. And the way we introduced it was we had functions and would say, hey, just dip it in this sauce, And so that's how we got exposed through the fundraising and all of that through. So shout out to Troy, Coach Troy Lee, for exposing us to you. And so when I saw, okay. And so let me just say exactly how we actually met, because I'm part of a organization called Gridiron Gang. And we're a flag football team. We're always looking for ways to generate income as far as fundraising is concerned. And so our former coach, Coach Troy, had actually introduced it to us like, oh, I know you guys are trying to stay in shape. Let's try this sauce. I heard it's good. I tried it. It's amazing. And so I remember we had a meeting and we had pizza. And we were dipping it in the pizza, especially the crust ends. And we were like, what the hell? This would be great when we grill. So we grilled out with it. And that's when we really introduced it and exposed it to people. And literally to this day, they call it, y'all got that gang sauce? And I'm like, well, it's called CW dressings. But yeah, we'll get some more. We'll definitely add it back to the arsenal because it was so effective. Because once you taste it, it's delicious. It is so, and it goes on everything. I know it's supposed to be salad dressing, but I have cooked burgers. Like, you know how like you get it cooked, if you do it in the oven or on the stove, I'll add it to that. I've put it on fries. I've put it on my salads. I put it on, I don't eat steak, but I make tuna, I'll eat tuna. So when I make like pepper steak and rice, but I use Aoi tuna, I use the hot sauce. So look, the hot sauce is not full. And the reason why my hot sauce is not full, because I like a little heat. So how did that happen? What made you say, let me expand the palette? And I know we have a new one I haven't tried yet, but how did the hot sauce get on the market?
So I brainstormed. Well, I often brainstorm new products.
Okay.
And I struggled with, okay, do I want my next product to incorporate dates? Since the first one was such a hit.
Yes.
And my daughter, she threw out there, you should make a hot sauce. You should make a hot sauce. And she went about,
woman.
Yeah, she went about making some hot sauce. I don't think it ever turned into anything. But she was like, you should make a hot sauce. So during that time, I was gonna make the BarQ sauce. The BarQ sauce was supposed to be the second product.
Okay.
But large size glass bottles became difficult to get because we were still, somewhat in the pandemic.
Right.
So my co-packer, he said, hey, I have these 8-ounce, these 9-ounce bottles. They're smaller. And I was like, you know what? I'll just make a hot sauce. So that's pretty much how the hot sauce came about. I didn't want the hot sauce to be really hot. I wanted it to be flavorful.
Yeah.
I wanted it to have depths of flavor to it. And, sriracha was taken off, scorpion heat, all that hot stuff. We were in the midst of that era of making everything super hot. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to make it really hot. I want everyone to enjoy it. So I was more focused on flavor when it came to the hot sauce. And then I had to come up with a name. So I brainstormed the name, and just like with the dressing, I didn't want to make it a gimmick because there are a lot of hot sauces out there that are gimmicks.
Yeah. So which would you consider a gimmick? Just out of curiosity.
Well, I'll say this: we are not a hot sauce company,
right? Okay.
We are a sauce company. So therefore, I wanted everyone to buy it.
Right.
If I made it super hot, it was only going to appeal to certain hot sauce enthusiasts. So I wanted everyone to be able to enjoy it. And I didn't want to make the name of it a gimmick neither. So Sweet Date Hot Sauce was the name.
Sure. That was simple.
And when you look at my labels, and I brainstormed this several nights before the label design. Me and my wife, we don't drink very often. Maybe like once in a blue moon, we might get some wine with some friends or something of that nature. So I realized early on that I wanted my products to be upscaled and a little more sophisticated. So I modeled my label, my branding after wine bottles. And I also realized by doing that, and by the fact that I'm using exotic dates, I think I can charge more for them.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see it being wine bottle-ish. because when I seriously, like, I have sauces like hot sauce, I have sriracha sauce, and it's in the cabinet with my condiments. But where I keep these bottles is on, like, I have like a pantry, and it has my like coffee, my special sauces, and it's like it sits on, and it's because of how it is. To be honest, it gives that vibe of this is special.
Yeah.
And by the way, folks, the hot sauce second ingredient is the actual cayenne. Okay, so you're not getting watered down. But I do have a question. This might be a controversial question.
Yeah.
Out of the hot sauce arena, knowing that CW Dressing is not a hot sauce company, if you had a choice between Red Hot by Frank's or Texas Pete, which of the two would you choose?
Frank's.
That's the dog right there. Look, I had went to the store today and got these socks because one of my friends and I, we always have this debate about which sauce is better. And I'm like, I don't understand how you can like Texas Pete.
Yeah.
No offense to them, both great companies, but my preference, because of the layer, it actually gives it some different type of flavor.
Right. Yeah, Frank's has more flavor.
Yeah.
And a lot of hot sauces are missing flavor. They're just all heat.
Yes.
Which doesn't appeal to me. It appeals to a lot of people, so I don't want to knock them. But I definitely want flavor. I want a hot sauce that's going to enhance what I'm already eating. I want to actually taste it. Now, I will tell you this. When you spoke about Troy, so I wanna mention to you how I met Troy.
Okay.
So one day I was on Facebook and it's, for me, it's always business. It's go time, business all day, whether I'm researching, listening to something on YouTube, whether I'm trying, professional development, I'm always researching, thinking outside of the box. So once I got into the sauce business, I realized, okay, I can sell this to the retailer, or I can sell this to customers, or I can sell it to, retailers. But if I sell it to retailers, then I'm selling it wholesale price. Mm-hmm. So I was brainstorming ways how to sell more product. And I don't know how I ended up seeing Gridiron Gang, but it came across my Facebook feed.
That's because of my marketing.
Okay.
15 social media secrets that get you paid. Sorry.
Okay. So I seen it, and it said that you guys were doing fundraisers, and you were currently fundraising with Krispy Kreme donuts.
Kreme, yeah.
And I thought, and early on, I looked into Krispy Kreme's fundraising because I had the idea, okay, if you have a product, you want that product to spark change. If you can affect someone's life, then you have a product. If you have a product that can change their life, then you can create something big. Yeah. So when I seen that you guys were fundraising with Krispy Kreme, I was like, you know what? This is a group of women that's playing flag football. Some of them are wives, girlfriends, mothers. I said, they're cooking, but they're playing flag football. They don't want to fundraise for Krispy Kreme donuts and hand out diabetes. That's exactly what I said to myself. So I called the number on the Facebook post and I spoke to Troy. I said, hey, is this Troy? He was like, yeah. I said, hey, you don't know me. I don't know you, but this is CW. I own a salad dressing company, and I see that you guys are having a fundraiser. And I would like to offer my services. Maybe we can work together. We just help each other. A certified disabled veteran-owned business helping the community, and the community helping a veteran-owned business. Instead of you guys fundraising with Krispy Kreme, how about you guys fundraise with my products? And I mentioned to him that they were elegant, they were upscale, they're absolutely great. People love them. He was like, okay, send me a few bottles first, and then I'll mention it to the ladies. And he was like, I was like, okay, work. And that's pretty much how that happened.
Yeah. And that was the meeting.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, what is this? So shout out to Troy. He's always making some incredible connections. And I'm glad that you contacted us, because literally we have another coach that helps. He's like more part-time now. And he's like, Z, his name is Coach James. So you got any hot sauce? So I was like, man, I just opened this bottle, but I could bring you. He's like, man, I'll pay for the whole bottle even if it's just half. So the team loves it. So talk about the barbecue. Like, first of all, I think it's amazing hearing your story, because you never know why things happen the way it happens. And we literally said one time, because I always do like 2 like pool party cookouts, and we were using a balsamic sauce just to marinate things, right? And one of the girls like, man, it would be dope if he had a barbecue sauce. I'm like, I'm sure he thought about it, but no one would ever think that it's because of the demand on the size of the bottle, which determined that the hot sauce came first, right? That's why you never assume, because you just don't know what's happening behind the scenes.
Right.
So you mentioned a lot of things in a small capsule, but it was a lot. And you mentioned, I don't pay attention to anything except for research, finding out more, reinvesting, how to get better, personal development. And so going, from the Army, which is a very disciplined arena, talk about this shift in mindset at all, if you had to have any, where once you were doing this, now you're into the arena of entrepreneurship. Was there any shifts in paradigm, or a paradigm that you had to take in regards to really being able to get it out there?
Yeah, there were definitely some shifts. In the military, you're trained to be part of a team. And the team aspect is still there, is still in me. Because I think, in my opinion, I'm a natural leader. Even with other small businesses that I run into, that maybe, I don't know, maybe they sell soap, maybe they sell jewelry, maybe they're another sauce company. I share everything that worked for me. I share it with them. So the team aspect is still there. But through the years, as you grow through the military and you make rank, you kind of find your groove. And I think for the most part, it's the discipline aspect, because working for yourself, you definitely have to be disciplined. It's not, because no one's going to tell you when to get up, or
nobody.
And I'll be the first to tell you, I like to work late into the night. Sometimes I don't go to bed till 1-2 o'clock in the morning. And I was just telling a buddy of mine the other day, I was like, man, I don't listen to these internet gurus saying you got to be the first one up. No, I wake up around 8:30, but I like to work late. That's my routine. But the discipline, I would have to say the discipline has to be there. That's the biggest thing that I brought over from the military. The discipline, the ability to research and be creative, be resourceful. I just brought that over. In the military, I consider myself to be a good leader. My dining facilities that I manage, we won several dining facility awards. So yeah, I think it all depends on the individual and the training.
Yeah, I do like what you said, because I'm the same way, but I'm a nut, and I'm a serial. I've been on my own for a long time, and I still have to get up around 7:38. but I do find that I enjoy working at night because it's so quiet.
Right.
And it's like you have no interruptions, not just even in your house. You know, I'm not even talking about the house. I'm talking about, I don't know if it's spiritual or if it's the world. It's like the world is just quiet. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's when all the ideas come. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
shit, I'm over here like, I can't sleep. I got to write this down. I got to do this. Do you find that that's the case with you where it's like, it's something about that 12 to 3 window? I think there's like magical things happen in the universe.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Yeah.
the case.
Yeah. For me, it's sort of, I mean, it's a piece. Um, my wife is home. She's asleep. She's not at work. During the day, I call her like every 3 hours at work to see what she's doing. The dogs are here during the day. I got to take them out every few hours. They want to go play catch. So there's a constant interruption.
Mm-hmm.
During the day, I want to call my mom, call my dad, family members. I'm scrolling Facebook, Instagram. So there's a constant interruption during the day, but at night, I mean, you can just truly get things done.
Yeah, it's like you and Source connect somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
You're getting deposit and downloads and all.
Right. Yeah, and you're not even sleepy at that. You're just, okay, I'm done now. I think and I like to get ahead before the next day.
Yeah.
So if I already know if I'm waking up late tomorrow, then I'm going to work, late into the night. So I like to get ahead. I wake up, I take my time first thing in the morning. I take care of the dogs, feed them. We go out and play. So in the morning, I still won't go to the office till about maybe 2 hours after I wake up. So,
okay. So I believe in morning routines. Okay. You seem like you are very focused, very driven, very focused. Not seem like you are. And so my question is, how vital is it, you think, personal development is to an entrepreneur?
It's very vital. It's I'm not going to say it's the heartbeat, but it's the lungs.
Yeah, it is.
because that's where the breath comes from.
Yeah.
And I realize that a lot of times in business, no one really teaches you how to be in business. I mean, there are several entities out there that can teach you. You can take a SCORE class. You can do some webinars, but business is somewhat universal. I mean, you could easily be working a 9 to 5 for the last 5 years, and something happened at work. You're like, you know what? I'm not going into the office. I'm going to start a business. So, I mean, you can just start a business out of the blue, no matter what it is. It could be a lawn. It could be a landscaping business, a grass cutting business. It could be a dog walking business, and no one really teaches you that. But at some point, the self-development, it has to happen if you want to improve, because you don't want to be naive and feel safe. The term you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
That's one thing, but there's another thing to go seek the answers because you want to know.
Yeah.
That's the people who thrive. Early on, when I made the decision after seeing everyone's faces after they tried my product, I was like, man, I don't know the first thing about starting a business. So what I did was I went straight to YouTube. Started the LLC, got the name, trademark, the logo, all that good stuff, that you're supposed to do. So it sort of just fell into place for me. And I stayed up late for many, many months just researching. But and then even at that point, that's just getting the business started. And now you got to find your flow. Our first year in business, We started September 2020. That was a short year for us. So we made $600 from September to December. And at that time, I was making the bottles myself.
Yeah.
I didn't have the health department coming to the house. So it was a learning process. And then I realized, you know what? I can't make these bottles from home because I got in business to be in business, not to be in the kitchen making this product, because that's going to take up a lot of time. And then I'm going to have storage. I'm going to have to rent a commercial kitchen. I'm going to have to buy all these ingredients. I'm going to have to store them somewhere. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have to jump in and not look back. So I located a co-packer. 2021, we did that 5,000 in business. I can't remember what we did 2022, but this past tax season, we did over 90,000. So,
wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I mean, the self-development is one thing. Being comfortable with saying, "Hey, I didn't know," is one thing. So you really want to seek out the answers. And I would say for the most part, you got to find a mentor, someone that's doing what you're doing.
Ooh, yes.
So you can ask them the questions. And I have a few mentors, and I could tell you that I've surpassed my mentor.
That's awesome. And sometimes that's troubling because if you ever do it, sometimes they like it, sometimes they don't. You get to really know who your mentor is, what you surpass them. It's funny because as you're talking, it's like I totally understand this because this is part of my world, right? Where the thing about business, I love that you said, is that you kind of go through this process that even if you take a course, a class, go through the training. In business, you're going to learn as you go. So constant personal development is necessary because a lot of people might have stopped at the 600. A lot of people might have stopped at the 5, not realizing that they're just one stone away from doing what you did in your 3rd year. It usually takes 3 years for people to get into profit mode in a good business. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, kudos to you for keep going. Was there any adversity that you did not prepare for that made you go, And I know for me, my biggest hurdle were my people. My closest, where it was like you have these expectations, not realizing that people know you. That was one of my biggest challenges outside of me having to completely change my thinking completely. But was there any adversity, any things that made you go, why am I doing this? Did I sign up for this? Did you have any of those moments along the way?
I would have to say I got 2 answers, maybe 3 to that.
Okay.
So I would have to say the first adversity that I faced was early on, and that was when I was attempting to find a co-packer to make my balsamic vinaigrette for me. Yeah. I came across 3 co-packers based in North Carolina who straight out told me, we can't make your product. And I was like, well, if you're worried about obtaining the date syrup, I have a pipeline for the date syrup. Is going to come straight from Belgium by way of the Sahara Desert. So I already had that pipeline set up. And the dates that I use are grown in the Sahara Desert. So,
nice.
But I kind of felt as if those companies, when they told me no, we can't make that. And I'm like, well, I'm making it now from home. Why can't you make it? So I seen it as, this is a hobby for you. You're a new business. You're not going to be around 2-3 years from now. So that's sort of how I took it. And I was stuck for a little while. And then, I had a co-packer that I had contacted previously, called me, and right out the blue, he was like, I can make it. I was like, all right. So that was the first adversity. The second adversity that I faced was when I realized, okay, becoming a household brand is going to be very difficult. And at this point, I'm bootstrapping it. I mean, I'm still bootstrapping it. I haven't received any funding. I do plan on doing some crowdfunding in the future. I will be looking for investors. You will have anyone will have an opportunity to invest once the crowdfunding kicks off. But realizing that, okay, I have to sell more product. And let me tell you, the industry game is rigged. The bigger brand name companies, they have the game sold up right now. And this is one reason why I follow Master P and what he's doing with his products. He says it himself. If you are a small business or a Black-owned business, you're not really going to get those looks because you're small. Because right now, even at the stage that I'm in now, if I were to attempt to be on Walmart's shelf, it would drive me out of business.
Yeah.
Because the distributor, I'm sure you see the big trucks, Cisco.
Yeah, my dad used to work for Cisco in New Jersey.
Yeah, so Cisco is a distributor. They want 30% to move your product. The grocery stores want 30% to move your product.
We had 60.
Yes. So that's where contacting the Troy with the Gridiron Gang, hey, I'm sparking community response,
which was similar to network marketing almost.
Right. And I'm willing to give up that 30% because the females on the team, they're going to use word of mouth to spread it.
Yeah.
So that was the second point of adversity. Actually realizing, it's going to be difficult to be able to take over, even regional, getting into a few stores, and we're in 30 plus stores. We're in Lowe's grocery stores as well.
Oh, that's good to know whenever we run out.
But that was the second. And I would have to say the third one was the funding, because I'm still bootstrapping it.
Yeah.
And, if I had the resources, we like to say, if we had what they had, if we had the resources, if we had the funding, we'd be doing a lot better. But honestly, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. What's so funny? It's parallel to how Africans live in their countries, because they don't get credit for nothing. You see somebody driving around with a Beamer, they probably pay for it outright. If you see them with a phone, an iPhone, it's not on a payment plan. They don't have, I don't know if all the countries don't have it, but I know specifically a few. And so it's kind of like, that's just what we do,
Right.
But it is something to think about when you think about legacy. And is that something that you think about when you build this company? Like, I would like for my kids to have access to the funding that we would look for in something like your business or mine. It's like, I want to be that one, that you are able to do that. But I think it's important that they know, and that other people who even watch this know, it still can be done without it.
Right.
It may be a little harder, or a lot harder actually, because if I gave you 100,000 on year one, Lord knows what happened, right?
Right.
But at the same time, there's things that, that's my phone. I don't know why it does that. But not having that does teach and give lessons that we probably would never have if we were able to get that.
Right.
Yeah. But when I keep going.
Yeah. When I started the business, my mind frame was just start the business. Now that I'm a few years in, it's changed to Well, I guess you could say I've adapted to why do you start a business? You start a business for two reasons. You start a business to either pass it down, or you start a business to eventually sell it.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if my sons would want to take the company. Um, we would have to have that talk. My oldest son is in the Army. My youngest son, he graduated last year and he's going to be starting college this year. So I don't know. We would have to have a conversation, but right now I'm leaning toward build a business as big as I can get it and then sell it. But keep a portion of the the rights of the company. That way I always create an income from the business.
Right. You would give up the CEO position basically.
Yeah.
And, okay. All right. Well, I think that is wise because a lot of times what people do, and even myself have done, is that you end up creating a job from your business if you're not careful enough.
That's right.
And like you said, the importance of that. And I've definitely kind of put myself in that web for years because you're not realizing. And there's like a thing that happens where it's like because it's your baby, it's hard to delegate sometimes. You want to do everything. And if you do that, you will kill yourself in your business. Right. You'll end up being a job that you created for yourself. And so I can talk from that 100%. Don't do it. Make sure you delegate. Give some tasks. Find some good people. But definitely I'm loving this conversation because we get a glimpse of all of the things behind the scenes that it takes to really run a business. I think a product such as this is extremely difficult to get out there with all the other things that's out there. But I think it attests to the power of the taste. And so if no one has tasted this, I want to encourage you to please take the time. If you don't have it, we can get it to you. We can get it to you. I can get it to you. Chris can get it. We will get you some of this stuff because it's absolutely delicious. And so I want to just ask you a couple more questions. I'm not going to hold you hostage because I know you probably have many other things to do to keep continuing on this legacy. But what we like to do every week is a quote of the week. But we're going to get to that in just a second. I wanted to talk about mental health for just a second because it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we'll have like a quick moment there. In addition to working a business, how do you handle the life balance of life, personal life, business? Because I always tell people, even some of my clients and even my mentors would tell me, sometimes you have to miss some of the cookouts, some of the events, some of the holidays, some of these things. Sometimes it can be weighing on you because you see everyone else enjoying things, but you got to, sometimes it's crunch time, or like you said, you got your bootstraps on.
Yeah.
How do you balance work-life balance where you also are still mentally sound and mentally in a good place? Because I think sometimes, I know for me, there's times over the years where you hide anything that you have going on through your work. Because if you're working all the time, you don't have to address nothing. You have to address anything you got going on. And then you end up, it comes and triggers somewhere else. Like, wait a minute, where did that come from? You know what I'm saying? So give us your insight in regards to that, on how you kind of balance mentally all of the tasks on top of the other roles. You said you're a dad, you're a husband, I can't believe you're saying you're a grandfather of 9. How you got to remember their names, their birthdays, plus yourself, the dogs. You said you got animals. How do you balance all of that?
I would honestly have to say I think I'm a bit different.
Okay.
In regards to, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I don't at times, and I can look it up because I save it in my phone. But right off the dome, I may not remember a birthday or I won't forget my wife's birthday and anniversary, things like that. But I don't watch sports. I don't have any, activities that I do or like to do. I don't fish. I literally, I'm comfortable with achieving what I need to achieve. And I find peace in that.
You're on a mission.
Yeah. And but when you're in that bubble, to me, it doesn't feel like a mission. It feels like this is what I have to do to make it. And the way I'm built, the way I'm set up is I have to succeed.
Yeah.
So I don't find stress in that. Do I make time for family? Yes. My wife, she has access to my calendar. I mentioned to her not too long ago, sometime last year, if you want to hang out with me, you got to put it in my calendar. So she's able to see my calendar. She can go in and book time. She sees if I have events. She sees my appointments. She sees my webinars, my Zoom calls, all that stuff. So she sees everything. If she wants to plan something, she has to be at least a month or two ahead. We hang out, we work out, we play. We started playing tennis, so we'll go play tennis. But honestly, for the most part, and I say this all the time. Family. If I don't call you, if I don't reach out to you, don't charge it to my heart, charge it to my mind.
Yeah.
I'm just on a mission, and I can't stop until that mission is complete.
And I would have to say that having your wife understanding that is powerful. I think that's a test of picking the right person, because you don't. Some people, and that's I'm speaking from experience. You're like, look, I'm busy, and they don't understand that it can be chaotic. It takes away from the dream, the goal, and all that mission. So, kudos to her and to you for having that really solid understanding. I'm working. How hard is that?
Yeah. Now I will say, in the military, we've learned stress relieving techniques and breathing methods. Whether and my dogs, whenever they have to go out and we play catch, that's a release for me. If I'm sitting here all day, they will come nudge me. They want to go outside, so they keep me, grounded as well. Believe it or not, wanting to go outside, they'll make me break away from the computer, from the office. But my office is in my home, but I've also set up a really good schedule as well. I pretty much have my routine. And there are some days where I wake up and say, you know what, I'm not going in the office at all today. But that's very rare. But I do find solace and peace, and just being able to work my routine. And like I said, I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission. I don't know. I feel that I'm going to get far. I really do. But at the same time, we all don't know how much longer we have here on. So I just want to make sure that I make a impact, and I think it's important for my sons to see me build something, to let them know that they can do this as well. So
that's one of the beautiful things about being an entrepreneur. It definitely sows seeds that you don't even know into your family, into your kids, especially when it's successful. It's like, well, if dad did this, it makes it more of a possibility for them. But I wish I picked the quote from Steve Jobs based off what you just said. And I don't quote me on exactly if he said it this way, but he said, when you find the thing that you love, you will never work another day in your life.
That's right.
And so that's what it sounds like you're telling me, is that, and I totally understand that. It's like you just, get this charge of this is it. This is what I'm, this is what I'm supposed to do. I feel led that I got here. Serendipity made those things happen. And so, like I said, I'm not going to hold you too long, but I wanted to do our quote of the week, which wasn't the Steve Jobs quote, but this is our quote of the week, and I would love your insight on it. It says, "Art is a marriage of the conscious and the unconscious," by Jean Cote. I think that's how you say it.
Art is the marriage of the conscious and the unconscious. That was a little deep for me. I don't know what Gene talking about.
Well, I think what he means. Well, I'll start off what I think. What I think he means, it's kind of like you had no idea that people were going to react. You just wanted to eat healthy, and you didn't know that people would react to that. And I think there are unseen things that happen in the midst of us that we're not conscious of. And consciously, you knew you wanted a business, but unconsciously you created it by just making this sauce. And these little steps of serendipity happens. And now that's how I see it. So I feel like, like the story, it's a funny story that we all have heard. Like when Michael Jackson woke up at 3:00 in the morning, he goes, "I gotta get up and make the bed because Prince gonna get it." And it's like, as crazy as that sounds, I understand that because I feel like, I don't know if ideas float in the air, but have you ever been like thinking of something hard and then you see it on TV, like, damn it, I thought about that 5 years ago. So I feel like a sprinkle of, I don't even know if it's like a cloud of ideas or clouds of inspiration happens that you're just not aware of. So I don't know if that's what Gene meant, but that's how I took it for sure. But that's our quote of the week. Art is married of conscious and the unconscious. Shout out to Gene. But anyway, well, thank you so much, Chris, for coming on. Is there anything that you might have to be thinking, like, I wish I would have said this, I wish I would have said that, anything coming up, any events? I know we can follow you on IG at CW_dressings and Facebook at CW Dressings. Anything you wanted to say, needed to say, or need us to be aware of?
Yeah, so I would like to say this, and then I'm gonna hit all of the well, I'm gonna say this. One of those other adversity moments that I realized is where I was creating the adversity. Because at one time I was not charging enough for my products. And first starting a business, you kind of wonder, okay, is someone going to pay that price? For this product? When you look around, you can go to Walmart and buy a $2 balsamic, and they're flying off the shelf. But the ingredients are subpar, and folks are looking for a deal. They're looking for a steal, they're looking for a discount. So, I was caught between keeping my price low or raising them for a few months, for a good period of time. And then I realized, I'm not doing myself any justice keeping my prices low. My products are superb. My product is outstanding. And I was stuck with, are people really going to buy this?
Yeah.
So, and I can tell you, if you're an entrepreneur, make sure you're charging what you're worth. And I can tell you one thing that made me really realize that my product was priced too low is I was selling too much of it. I was selling way too much of it.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is, since I raised my prices, I'm still selling a lot.
You know
So
what? You made two books come to mind, and I usually give a book recommendation. What did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
no. I was finished.
Okay, so two book recommendations. You made me think of Contagious. It's an incredible book. If no one has read it, get the audio book, read it. I like physical books, but it's powerful. It talks about how things go viral, all these things. But it's one, I think it's chapter 3 or 4. They talk about this guy who makes cakes. And he wanted to charge $100 for his cakes, but he had to go over this hurdle. And it wasn't just the product and all of that. It was the carefulness he would take. He felt like it was worth it. And so for a long time, he wouldn't sell them until he got, you know how they say it's not what you know, it's who you know. He got well connected to a certain group of people. And then he went crazy. At that point, They thought even the $100 was too low. And so it is a mistake I think we all make, even me. I remember when I transitioned into the social media management realm, I think one of our issues is that we try to count other people's pockets. You're worried about, you look at, even if you're starting a business and you're kind of like broke because you're starting a business, you're making investments, things are tight. You're thinking about the other people's pockets versus what is the value that they're going to get from this product. There is not one person that I know who has not tasted this sauce that did not get. Food is life. It's like, woo! You know what I mean? And so the fact that it says on the back of the label how much, you know what I mean? It's not watered down, none of that. And as long as you know you're providing something of value, I think that's what's important. Like, you know, it should only feel bad when we're asking for more and we're giving less. But if you're getting something this amazing, whatever it is, whether it's bottles of sauce, management services, whatever, if you're giving more, then it's okay to get more. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And then the last book I'll give is Think and Grow Rich. The whole entire interview, you made me think of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, because it's a part in there where he talks about specialized knowledge and how you have to basically become obsessed with your dreams to manifest it at the level of legacy. If you're trying to get to the level of legacy, we're talking about, you know, so you can get that book for $3. I know so many people have read that, you know, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. But anyway, please go and follow CW Dressings on Instagram and Facebook, CW_dressings. This show is going to launch towards the mid of I'm about to say March, of May. I think it's week 3 of May. Don't quote me on that, but I'll let you know, Chris, and we'll definitely post some of the shorts and all of that. Make sure you get that. So just as a reminder, everyone, every single Sunday at midnight, we have a new episode that posts the full episode, but you can always catch portions of it throughout the week. And my name again is Ikira Casado, author of 15 Social Media Secrets That Pay. And this is our next show. We thank you so much for being here. Stay tuned for our next awesome show with another amazing guest. But until next time, always remember to lead with love, peace, and hair grease. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Thoughts Podcast, True Honest Opinions Towards Success. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and don't forget to leave us a review, share your thoughts in the comments, and your reviews literally help us to improve and create content that resonate with you. Until next time, love, peace, and hair grease. Bye.